Hello and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Victoria 3 in our Prussia run on patch 1.9.8. I believe that patch has officially gone live. I haven't technically changed the beta status, so I think I'm still running the beta version of that patch, but I believe that is now currently the live patch. We're going to pick up where we left off during the stream. We've got about 20 years left. I suspect that we should be able to finish that run in this stream. Finish this run in this stream. This was a run that started off as Prussia. We first formed the North German Federation, and then we sort of formed Super Germany, and now we've managed to push into the United States of Europe. Technically, I think we still have claims on some of the bits over here. If we wanted to expand it a little bit more at the cost of, well, having to take over people that like us. So we might not want with that. Other than that, I think we're mostly going to be focusing on raising standard of living. It may cause the GDP to rise, it may not. We may be at the point in the game where successfully raising standard of living actually causes GDP to decline as people swap from being employed in regular jobs to being employed in ownership jobs. Yeah. And yeah, there's a little bit more labor saving we can maybe do by moving people off of various jobs using the oil PMs. How much oil do we have? Probably do a little bit. Okay, let's get the game moving, and then we'll start trying to poke at the oil problems. Or, well, poke at the employment problems. There we go. I went to the beginning of the queue, right? No. For a reason the ult didn't take. Well, we'll shove to the top of the queue and call it good. And to some degree, this is late game laissez-faire going on. Running 1 million a week. So we've got 2,690 weeks. Well, actually, no, about 2,000 weeks at the current expenditure rate that we can handle in this deficit and not go bankrupt. That's more than 20 years. So we could continue to just run that deficit basically perpetually. And that's kind of what we were actually just going to straight up do. This is about the point in the game where it starts to get very hands off. Let laissez-faire take the wheel. We can probably build a little bit of groceries, or at least try to buy a little bit of groceries. We ideally want to make raw materials, but I think we're at the point where we're basically out of lead to make, rubber to make, iron to make. Like, we're having to import these because we're out of them. We could technically make steel, but it doesn't really make sense to make steel if it's above the price or if it's below the price of iron. Oil, we definitely make same sort of thing. Engines to steel, it doesn't really make sense to make more engines if it's below the price of steel. We're gonna get another company. Modern financial instruments is gonna help a little bit. No, we're not getting another company. So we're gonna get a little bit more minting. We're gonna reduce the loan interest rate, which shouldn't make a big difference. And get us a little more government dividends efficiency. Not that I think I'm getting any government dividends on laissez-faire. Everybody got that. So it's like mass propaganda. Not that that's going to make a big effect production-wise. Oh, okay, there's a couple labor-saving ones down here we can implement. I don't think we're oil to run an oil turbine. And then military techs. Popularity contest. Power of the trade unions. Unlocked dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are actually stuff I might swap into on the fleets. Yeah. And then agitators, show only the available ones, which should be all of them, to be fair. Yeah, could join the labor movement. Okay, yeah, so we don't have a situation where we can get the communist or the socialist movements going. We can get labor movement, which is not what we want, really. Reaction liberal. Yeah. False democracy. Let's take that option. Oh, and we're back to earning money again. Well, that's because I let the queue run out, I suppose. And now it's on the public queue, which is probably where we want it. Unless I'm guessing there is... Is there any lead mines for us to actually make? We could probably build some abroad. The sort of grand thought process here is build the foreign stuff, our people can buy and thus indirectly own it. While at the same time, this hopefully lowers the global price of the thing, making it cheaper in our market because we import it. Kind of got better at moving around, so we're just going to go from highest job seekers to lowest job seekers. And again, just kind of overbuilding the lead here because we can. Going in, that's probably enough. And yeah, oil price is reasonable, so let's start trying to implement just a little bit more labor saving where we can. Those are about as good as they get. You're already on commercial ignition for the farms, where the farms can be. You're on electric star, where those can be. Presumably flash freezing, where those can be. Fillmore, and so on and so forth. Okay. Apparently we've got a state somewhere that doesn't have electricity, is what I'm guessing. What I'm getting from that laydown. How's the oil looking? it up a little bit. And in theory, that's freeing up population to work. So if they work other jobs, but we started the stream mere 9 minutes ago with 80,000 unemployed and peasants, and we've enabled labor saving PMs, and that we've just got more people who don't have jobs. Okay. Assembly lines where they can enact. How's the oil still looking? Rose to 16%. I'm probably willing to go up to 20. Government is fine. I don't think there's any laws. Unless we go full like communist, I don't think there's any law changes that make any sense. There's a little too much opposition to swap here. I'm actually surprised there's any support for it, to be fair. Okay, swap some more over. Go back, check the oil price. 17%, not too bad. That only goes up to rotary valve. Goes up to rotary valve. I think we had stocks in earlier ones, that doesn't surprise me. Oh yeah, that's really only as high I want to take the oil. Could do some subventions to encourage importing, which we'll do. Okay, that helped a little bit. We're also building up the worldwide supply of oil, which will help with keeping that price down. Okay, that's all the labor saving beams we can turn off. So we're either good, or we're not going to get good with population. And of course, that's all mostly imported oil, so that's driving down the GDP. It has freed up peasants and unemployed, which is good to see. There's our modern financial instruments. Grab the mass propaganda. Actually, the alternative, I suppose, is like grab flash freezing and tow rollers. Grab toll rollers. And now I just need to let the game actually, you know, build some of the stuff I've queued up. Yep, standard of living is rising. I think we were like 23.3 at the beginning of the stream. We're now apparently at our all-time high at 24.18. And we are, as our economic sector grows, likely to become more and more and more owner class. And you can see here, our lower strata is phenomenal standard of living. 21 is pretty nice for lower population. Middle class is 28, and then that upper class is 60. So assuming we can keep that growth rate up on that pop group, then in theory our standard of living should be rising. Yeah, you can see lower strata is beginning to stagnate as we're basically slowly transitioning the lower strata over more and more and more to middle and upper class. We're probably hitting the point where our middle class is going to start to stagnate as well. What ownership buildings do have some middle class pops if memory serves. Yeah, I think. Are you middle class? Where's the middle class? Just only capitalist and aristocrats are upper class. Are clerks lower class? They are lower class. Okay. So in theory, we could rise as high as 50% upper class if we had everything upper class. Okay. Yeah, the oil price go up a little bit, but that's fine. And what, we're mainly subsidizing power plants, railways, and ports. Okay. Urban centers apparently doing its best. Interestingly enough, being suppressed by the fact that the transportation's reasonably expensive here, or reasonably cheap here. Okay, so I suppose I could be making fine art for local consumption and export. So as I'm not conquering anyone, well, I suppose I could be conquering people. I suppose if I'm not conquering people, I should really move on colonial offices. Because I assume we have the bureaucracy to support this. We can swap to something else to be a little more productive. I think it'd help. Theory maybe from the Netherlands. Everything else should stay on the sidelines. Okay. Plus 9 prestige that we probably don't need. Okay. From Zanzibar, okay. Nearly a little bit more of Africa. Mainly just to take advantage of the fact that we do still have that infamy reduction. Back in these smaller powers. Okay, back below 25. Even before the war started, back below 25, which is nice to see. Means you shouldn't get any extra radicals from taking them over. Anyway, we have the locals way out now. Guns and steam. Not just for show, yeah. Not just for show. fronts now. There's only one front, supposedly. Just to confuse everyone. We're still winning, so it's just a matter of patience. Hopefully that's going to give us a little bit more access to resources. Some wood there. Iron, lead, coal. A little bit more rubber and oil. Yeah, a little more rubber and oil. More bit to siege down, and the nation should fall pretty quickly. To be fair, the nation's already falling pretty quickly. They don't even need to take that last bit. Here we go. Our colonial efforts in Africa have borne fruit, claiming a sizable part of the continent for our own designs. A place in the sun permanently, 100 prestige. And we clear that journal entry, okay. Okay. And yeah, I don't think they made a big difference in the GDP. They brought the GDP per capita down a little bit, and they definitely brought the standard of living down a bit. Yeah, if everything goes according to plan, we'll turn around and find them all jobs. Guessing someone else might be at war. Maybe. Because our ammunition prices are real high. Automatic bakery. Let's go and grab flash raising. And we will go ahead and turn the automatic bakery on. It's just tools for saving a bunch of workers. And that's, I have to say, that's very much when the tooltip becomes useless because you have spammed the same thing over and over and over again. Oil rush subsides. Hell, probably actually has some decent manufacturing. Usually I go with the first one on that just simply because, oh, the oil rush subsided. It's like, okay, the province was known for oil, oil, and oil, so improving the manufacturing doesn't help. The Elm is pretty, you know, European, so it's probably got a pretty decent manufacturing industry. Yeah, oil is only making up 60% of the GDP after picking that option. And doing the 172%, so definitely the right option. You want a defensive pact and a support of independence. Let's negotiate. Kinda don't want to give you a defensive pact, honestly. I might agree to a defensive pact for investment rights. Which is arguably something I should be going around getting, and just picking up all the investment rights that I can. Thinking these guys are not gonna... Yeah, they're not gonna accept investment rights. Looks like you're... I already got investment rights in because I got investment rights on the British market. Okay. Well, you could ask, but I'm going to tell them no. Most of the other ones are kind of waiting for it to come down, I think. Yeah, our economic dependence isn't necessarily the best on the former French colonies. And yeah, at this point I'm kind of... Okay, I have those buildings queued up. I might just let those buildings finish and let the private queue have the wheel for a bit, because it's got a queue. It's got a pretty big queue. And unlike what I'm building, which is mostly response to the market, it's a little bit better at responding to prioritizing GDP improvements. We didn't have quite, when I grabbed the states down here, didn't quite have 20 years. These aren't going to fully state. Well, the three that we just grabbed that are new states for us. Some of the other ones apparently were already our states, so they just got added to existing states, which was nice. Don't think oil turbine makes sense. But maybe it does. But no, we're going to do mass appropriation first. And that to give us... specifically, I suppose. It was rural economy? Yeah. Flash raising. Where possible. Flash raising where possible. Mainly affects the farms, yeah. Oh, you don't get flash raising. It's just the fish and the whaling? Yeah, just the fish and the whaling. Doesn't free up that many more workers, but freed up to a little bit. And I think I'm just going to say here on the neutral state. Don't really gotta get involved here. I could probably expand construction a bit. We'll give it until the end of the year here. If the queue stays about the same length, we'll probably expand construction. If the queue starts getting close to empty, I'll do the opposite. I'll actually probably expand things to build. We could probably use some railroads and solar power, or railroads and electrical power somewhere. And I would drop taxes, but the taxes don't go... Well, actually, I suppose I could drop the consumption tax. That makes sense. Or the construction tax. Yeah. In practice, tax don't... At this point, the taxes don't go any lower. This is as low as the taxes are going to go. And we wait. This late in the game can get a little slow. This is running at max speed, and this is maybe like speed 3 and feeling at this point. Oh, I suppose I'm trying to buff my GDP. What state is contributing the most to our GDP? Interesting. Looks like it's Bohemia at just short of... Oh, no, you. Yeah, I guess it's you. Oops. $7.4. Mostly coming from automobiles. The local automobile industry apparently is really strong there. Okay. So what we can do, to raise our GDP just a bit, come down here into decrees, and place encourage manufacturing on you. Okay, and I do need more stuff in the queue, so let's pop over to some electrification. $80. Why is it showing as $80? PM is $50. Oh, throughput reasons. Okay. We'll still treat it as if it's 50 each. So at 50 each, 10 is 500, 60 is 3,000. Okay. Let that build. And of course, government expenses shot up because, well, now we're running more of the construction queue. Yeah, not much to say. At this point in the run, we've done all the law changes we want / can do. And in theory, I'd probably do some like communism if we had a low enough standard of living that we could actually get that swung. But at this point, we're kind of stuck on laissez-faire. You know, the labor movement would, in theory, support moving to cooperative. Oh, enough built there. Let's move on to something else in the queue. Let's look at the transport needs. This provides how much for level? About 55, okay. That's not going to hold for very long, but it's something in the queue for the queue to work on. Keep the main construction pipeline operational. Okay, we got 1.8 million people we could probably employ. No, I suppose in the new conquered territories I should build oil that's down here. The lumber that's down here. That was some lumber down here. Oh, the game's really hanging on that. Did I crash the game? That is a good question. Nope. Nope, the game came back. Game really struggled. Game came back. Game is struggling a little bit on the lumber here. To be fair, I do have lots of pharaohs, so as these become privately owned, if they're not profitable, they'll just shut down and disappear. So some of this might be me rebuilding stuff I've built earlier that the AI is deemed actually not profitable, but cannot say for certain that is in fact what happened. Oh, I only just recently inherited Italy, so that's where the sulfur mines are coming from. Okay, that's all the RGOs queued up. We'll let that work through. And if I was worried about the debt, I could technically raise taxes. We are literally on minimum taxes at this point, so if I had to raise taxes to deal with the debt, we could definitely handle that. $299.5 million. We'll probably hit 30 million for the end of the run here in the next 15 years or so. Just from population growth. In fact, the estimation there is saying we're going to hit it within the year. Okay, slowly and steadily. They'll improve, and we may turn a couple of them into puppets. The ones that aren't puppets are a little bit rebellious. You're protectorate. And, okay, so we got you to turn into a puppet. You to turn into a puppet, not you to turn into a puppet, you to turn into a puppet. Anyhow. 3 million people and growing. Apparently 2 million a year. So we're gonna have like 330 million-ish people before accounting for migration, I think. Okay, I'm letting the game run when I take my jacket off. It's getting a little hot. Okay. We can just accept more radicals here for the acceptance. Let's see if I can find the thing better. Work production, universal suffrage, graduated taxation, old age pensions. Okay, so would graduated taxation actually be an improvement from tax revenue standpoint? It would. That's quite a bit. A $2 million tax revenue increase just for moving onto it. That's because it's jumping the dividends from 2.5% to 10. Oh, interesting. Okay, so graduation taxation is 10, 50, 10. This one's 10, 15, 2.5. That makes the graduated taxation just feel a little more overpowered. It might be a tax law level effect, though. Maybe. Well, we're letting the game go. I could try to swap to that, but I don't think we really need the extra income. Whatever, guys, just dies. Okay. Fruitful endorsements. Corporatist ideology is pretty significant account. Don't really want to adopt it, but it's surprisingly strong at this point. Okay, there's mass propaganda. We can take a little turbine at this point. And then that gives us enough authority that we can do one more courage manufacturing. Which will probably drop in Bohemia. Pressing issues. Oh, and Colony apparently is puppet, but it's a special type of puppet apparently. government we have in is the most legitimate government. And we're up to 3 billion GDP. As we slowly let the game roll forward. So it's taking over Sokoto, other than clearing the junior infantry, right? So the junior infantry is gone at this point that we were having. And we're having no migration controls for that apply. Don't think with our current government we can do that. And then enact free trade. Okay. We got a government that's going to be very pro-protection, yeah. With rural folk and trade unions, the guys of the protection party. Same thing with the migration controls. They're kind of the we don't like to hand out migration controls. I'm actually surprised the rural folk, or no, I'm looking at control pros. No migration controls here. You can see only those industrialists like it. 101 migration restrictiveness, which apparently allows, I think, your primary culture to migrate into the country, and potentially out of the country. But Piedmont has the ability to build a skyscraper. Okay. So as the Italians went and did their skyscraper design before, so we can take advantage of that. Oh, there's a couple power blocks I actually haven't put out. And we're a little bit down from where, again, I think that's probably taking over Sokoto. We just introduced a bunch of lower standard living pops. And they're probably, well, they are promoting fairly quickly in standard living, so they're not going to keep us dragged down for super long. And the other thing I did was some employment rising from applying the labor-saving PMs. Okay, well, it's a little expensive. Probably spend a little bit of money to drop the prices on our most necessary imports. Broke the trade privileges of Spain. Okay. We'll just throw some money at them instead. That works, right? This is your investment rights. Not willing to give it to me, okay. From really not liking me, that's fair. There's oil to fire plants. Military-wise, I suppose we should work on, say, battleship. Not really caring about aircraft carrier. Probably do like battleship. Modern battle fleet. We're not going to use planes. I suppose I could pick planes up and we can try seeing if other people will buy them. Oh, apparently military aviation is spreading to us. That's interesting. By the power of asking pretty please if they want to give us investment rights so we can develop that country. And a lot of them, the answer, if I ask nicely, is yes. Let's go ahead and end Italy versus America. Rivals? Why would I have rivals? I think we reached the point where we don't need rivals at this point. From Sierra Leone, which is one of my friend's subjects, to West Switzerland. Because yes, we need more people in West Switzerland, apparently. I wonder, is there any tea I can make? Domestically, of course. A little bit. Same sort of thing with coffee. And then we can look at the art. The best job for unemployed people. Hopefully that helps a little bit with the infrastructure issues. Look at my massive European cities here. And then you cross into the poor French countryside, and the city suddenly get very tiny for some reason. Comparison to the super cities of Germany. Let's see, what is the French Commune up to in population? Okay, so they've got about a sixth of our population. Overly peasant. Well, actually, not overly peasant. That's only 250,000. Yeah, I have more peasants than them. Okay, that's 100 million gainfully employed. So I've got more people gainfully employed than they've got people. Large number of Hawaiian people have started migrating to Hawaii, or from Hawaii to Bohemia. That makes a little more sense. Like, yeah, of course they're migrating to Hawaii. They live in Hawaii. No, it's the migrating from Hawaii. Because the standard of living where they're going is 26.4. And they're migrating out of a place that is... averaging a 15.7. So they actually got a pretty decent standard of living from where they're coming from. Just, you know, plus 10 standard of living to leave. Oh, that standard of living bar is the difference between Jutland and Germany. It's just like, yeah, you cross the border into Denmark and your life sucks. You can even see that with Russia. You just cross the German-Russian border and your life quality sucks. Far more. France is a little better, but France is also now in the German market, so okay, you might not have the best of jobs in France, but at least have access to German-made goods. Well, I suppose, well, we have investment rights in Russia. We don't have, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, it's 14 there, you cross the border, it's like plus 7. 15. Across the border, it's like 26, yeah. Anyway, I think we'll play out the year here. We'll get to January the next year, and we'll put a part break in for YouTube. I went through this cup of tea real quick, realizing the tea is basically empty. This might be a longer break just because I'm going to go get another cup of tea. There's military aviation. Oops, that's not detect. Oh no, military aviation spread to me. Okay. What is the world market for planes? There isn't one. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That's vaguely believable. What is our smallest car manufacturer? You are the smallest car manufacturer. Make some aeroplanes. They are used by pops, so we'll encourage exports of that to the world. Consumed by pops of wealth level between 20 and 99, which I suppose is our entire country at this point. Okay, I might need to swap some more over to planes. They're surprisingly cost effective. Once the market compensates for the fact that I supply them, yes. Oop, so I was gonna put it over again. We'll return in the next part as we adapt to the world with planes. I don't think there's a civilian need for tanks, for example, so won't be doing tanks quite as much as we do planes. No one's on the going to produce their tanks. But yeah, there's a need for planes, so we'll make planes for people. We'll literally make planes for people. We're gonna finish up the battleship. We're gonna pick up. Basically, we've got military tanks left to go, right? If oil was cheaper, I suppose I could swap the electricity over to oil, but oil really isn't cheap. Ideally, we'd want to be on no tariffs rather than subvention, but. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow, and probably a part up tomorrow, well, the day after tomorrow. We'll see how quickly the game runs, whether or not there is a fourth part in this stream. If you're watching on Twitch, I am going to go ahead and get a cup of tea, because the fractional one left in front of me is about to disappear. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck, and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.